Auschwitz is not just a place. It is a warning, a reminder of how hatred, lies, and silence can turn ordinary people into victims and others into killers. Today, we are going to talk about Auschwitz, why Adolf Hitler decided to kill Jews, how Auschwitz was created, and how millions of innocent people were tortured and murdered there. This is a hard story to hear, but it is a story the world must never forget. To understand Auschwitz, we must first understand Adolf Hitler. After World War I, Germany was broken. The country had lost the war. The economy was destroyed. Millions were unemployed. People were angry, hungry, and hopeless. Hitler used this pain to gain power. He needed someone to blame for Germany's problems, so he chose the Jews. Hitler believed Jews were responsible for Germany's defeat, poverty, and suffering. This belief was not based on truth. It was based on hatred, lies, and conspiracy theories. He also believed in a dangerous idea called racial purity. Hitler claimed that Germans belonged to a superior race, which he called the Aryan race. Anyone who did not fit this image was seen as a threat. Jews, Roma people, disabled people, homosexuals, and political opponents were all labeled as enemies of the state. Slowly, hatred became law. At first, Jews were not killed. They were isolated. Jewish businesses were boycotted. Jewish doctors and teachers lost their jobs. Jewish children were bullied in schools. Jews were forced to wear yellow stars to mark them in public. Then came violence. In 1938, during a night known as Kristallnacht, Jewish homes, shops, and synagogues were destroyed. Thousands of Jews were arrested and sent to camps. This was only the beginning. When World War II began in 1939, Nazi control spread across Europe. Millions of Jews now lived under German occupation. Hitler and his leaders believed the Jewish problem needed a final solution. This solution was genocide, the systematic murder of an entire people. Auschwitz was created for this purpose. Auschwitz was built in occupied Poland in 1940. The location was chosen carefully. It was far from Germany, hidden from public view. It had railway lines, making it easy to transport prisoners, and it had space. Large empty land that could be turned into death camps. At first, Auschwitz was a prison camp for Polish political prisoners, but soon it became something far worse. It expanded into three main camps. Auschwitz I was the main camp. Auschwitz II, known as Birkenau, became the killing center. Auschwitz III was a forced labor camp. Together, they formed the largest death camp in history. People arrived at Auschwitz by train. These were not normal journeys. People were packed into cattle wagons. No seats, no toilets, no food, no water. The journey could last days. Children cried. Old people collapsed. Many died before the train even arrived. When the doors finally opened, prisoners were blinded by light and shouting. SS guards screamed orders. Dogs barked. Gunshots echoed in the air. Families were forced apart within seconds. This was called selection. Men were separated from women. Children were torn from their mothers' arms. The elderly were pushed to one side. Doctors, including Josef Mengele, stood and pointed left or right. One side meant forced labor. The other side meant death. Most people, especially children, women with children, and the elderly, were sent directly to the gas chambers. They did not know it. They were told they were going to take a shower. Those chosen for labor faced a different kind of suffering. Prisoners were shaved. Their clothes were taken. They were given striped uniforms and numbers. Their names were erased. They were no longer human beings. They were numbers. Life in Auschwitz was built on hunger, fear, and exhaustion. Prisoners worked from sunrise to sunset. They carried heavy stones. They built roads. They worked in factories. Food was almost nothing. A piece of bread, watery soup. People slowly starved to death. Violence was constant. Guards beat prisoners for no reason. If someone fell, they were beaten. If someone stopped, they were beaten. If someone looked weak, they were killed. Public executions were common. People were hanged in front of others as a warning. Disease spread quickly. Typhus, dysentery, and infections killed thousands. Medical care did not exist. Then there were the experiments. Some prisoners were used as test subjects. Children, especially twins, were targeted. They were injected with chemicals. They were operated on without pain relief. Many died during these experiments. Others were deliberately infected with diseases to see how long they survived. This was not science. It was torture. The gas chambers were the heart of Auschwitz. People sent there believed they were going to wash. They were told to remember their hook numbers for their clothes. The doors were locked. Then Zyklon B gas pellets were dropped from the ceiling. Within minutes, people screamed, choked, and clawed at the walls. Children died first. The strongest survived only a little longer. In about 20 minutes, everyone inside was dead. The bodies were then removed. Gold teeth were pulled out. Hair was cut off. Belongings were sorted and sent back to Germany. The bodies were burned in crematoriums. When crematoriums could not keep up, bodies were burned in open pits. The smoke never stopped. The smell of death filled the air. Prisoners said the sky itself seemed black with ashes. Auschwitz was designed for efficiency. Killing became routine, industrial, cold. By the time Auschwitz was liberated in 1945, over 1.1 million people had been murdered there. Most of them were Jews. Others included Roma people, disabled individuals, Polish civilians, Soviet prisoners of war, and many more. As the war turned against Germany, the Nazis tried to hide their crimes. Documents were destroyed. Gas chambers were blown up. Prisoners were forced on death marches in winter, without food or shoes. Thousands died on the roads. In January 1945, Soviet soldiers finally reached Auschwitz. What they found shocked the world. They found survivors who looked like skeletons, children who weighed less than a small bag of rice, mountains of shoes, suitcases with names written on them, rooms filled with hair, glasses, and clothes. The world could no longer deny what had happened. After the war, some Nazi leaders were put on trial. Many claimed they were just following orders. But Auschwitz proved something terrifying. Ordinary people can commit extraordinary evil when hatred is normalized and silence becomes comfort. Auschwitz did not begin with gas chambers. It began with words, with lies, with blaming one group for society's problems. That is why this story matters today, not to spread fear, but to protect the future, because hatred grows when people stop speaking. Auschwitz stands today as a memorial, not just for the dead, but for the living. A reminder that humanity must always choose compassion over cruelty, and that remembering is the first step to never allowing this to happen again.